In the last 30 days, I did about just under $1 million in gross sales, and net sales after all of the discounts and everything like that, probably around $700,000. And I want to share with you exactly how I've done it. I want to show you behind the scenes of all the numbers. I want to be super transparent because this is the kind of thing that would have baffled me a few years ago. How can someone make $1 million in a month, in 30 days? How can someone even make $100,000 in 30 days? These were numbers that just baffled and stretched my reality. Like, it's not possible. That's what you should be making in a whole year or 2 or 3 years, not in a bloody month. So let's go ahead and look at my account. So here's my Shopify dashboard. And in the last 30 days, if you just look over here, we did about $812,000 in sales, and we offered about $267,000 in discounts. Returns about 5K, shipping charges, that's what we charge customers, about 26K. All in all, we made about 569K in net sales. And if you combine that with our Amazon net sales, we did about $700,000 in total. Now, this is what you see, and this looks very impressive, some very, very high numbers, but I want to show you how it actually works and how much I get paid from Shopify, how much I've spent on ads. So before I show you how much I get paid and go to my Wise account, let me show you how much I spent on ads to generate these sales. So here's my Triple Whale account. And if you look at how much we spent and we go to attribution, for example, we can see in the last 30 days, let it load up, we spent $262,000 on ads, which is a lot of money. We spent $212K on Meta and $50K on Google. So this looks really impressive, but you have to understand that it doesn't come out of thin air. You have to actually drive the traffic to generate these sales. So that's how much we spent on ads. Now let's look at how much Shopify pays me on a daily basis. So here's my Wise bank account, and just today Shopify paid me about 21K, yesterday about 54K, and 14K and 14K on December 5th, 20K on that day, 23K, 83K actually on that day, which is very, very nice. So I get paid, a good 5 figures every single month. So I have a daily payout from Shopify. This doesn't show any of my Amazon payouts. I'm just strictly focusing on Shopify for the time being. So just to recap, we made about 569K in total net sales, and we spent about 262. So, just less than half on ads to generate those sales. And we get paid a good 5 figures every single day from Shopify as payouts for these sales. So I hope that gives you some context, because when people share their screenshots and they share these very, very big numbers, it looks very, very nice and juicy, right? But there's always a deeper story, because the question you should always be asking yourself is, what's your net profit? How much did you spend to generate those sales? Because someone can easily say, oh, I've made $2 million. But if they spent $1.5 million on ads to generate $2 million, and they've got a massive team of, say, 30 people with huge overheads, and they are only taking 100K at the end of that, is it really a good business? I would say no. With an e-commerce business, you want to make sure that your net margin after all of your expenses, and I mean all of your expenses, your subscription fees, your team, your office, your internet, after all of your expenses are taken into account, that at least, at the very, very least, you're aiming for minimum 20% net margin. Because if you go to exit your business and you want to sell it to a potential buyer down the line, whether it's a private equity firm or a strategic buyer, and they look at your net margin and it's less than 20%, they won't be impressed. They will say, actually, go away and fix it. And whenever I audit a brand, I always find there's a ton of fat that they could cut. There's all of these campaigns that they are running that aren't generating a profitable return on their ad spend. Or I look at their email campaigns and I see, hold on, you guys aren't even sending regular broadcast to your list and your list is only say 10,000 people when really it should be much more than that, or your flows aren't optimized. I'm like, hold on. They could easily be adding an additional 100K to their bottom line of free money just by running these campaigns and these additional flows. So there's always more money that can be added, and there's always fat and unnecessary expenses that can be cut from your margins. And on the topic of email, I want to share with you exactly how much of the revenue we generated came from email. So this is our Klaviyo account, Klaviyo, however you want to pronounce it. As you can see, this is very much in line with what we have on Shopify, 568,000, and Shopify says 569,000. So almost the same. There's always some kind of small discrepancy. But if you look at the total revenue, almost 25% of that came from email. $139,000 and $400 came from email. Do you see how important email is? 25% of our overall revenue came strictly from emails. And we pay quite a lot to Klaviyo, about $2,500 a month, because our list is quite large. But if you look at what it generates us, the numbers just make total sense. So the point I want to make or impress upon you folks is numbers look very fancy, look very impressive on paper, screenshots on social media, all that jazz. But there's always a deeper underlying story. There are brands out there making a ton of, digital money, but what they have left in their pocket at the end of the month is absolutely rubbish. And there are brands whose numbers aren't so big and sizable and impressive, but they are actually making a lot more profit. So you need to ask yourself, what kind of business do you want to build? Do you want to build one that looks great for social media, or you want to build one where you actually are able to generate good profit for you, your family, your team, your investors, your community, whoever it might be, right? Ideally, you want both. You want one that looks good and it's massive and also makes a lot of profit. But here's the thing that no one will tell you is that sometimes you have to go through a phase where you aren't making that much money because all you're thinking about is growth and scale and acquiring as many customers as possible. And if that is your strategy for that period of time, that season, so to speak, then you have to accept it. You have to accept, hold on, you know what? For the next 6 to 9 months, I'm going to be scaling, acquiring customers, going hard on acquisition, and my margins won't be as healthy. But after that, I'm going to be optimizing for profitability, where you are going to be a lot more strategic and careful and considered with your numbers, your expenses, all of the different moving parts for your business. So you have to be really honest with yourself with what stage of business you're in. If you're looking to exit in the next, say, 12 months, you should forget about scale. You should forget about growth. All you should be thinking about is, what can I do to maximize my profitability? Because potential buyers, the way they value your business is based on your trailing 12 months profit times evaluation. And your trailing 12 months profit is based on your profit. So you need to maximize that number by beefing it up or by cutting expenses. And your valuation is based on a whole host of different factors, but one of them is based on your growth. So yes, while you're optimizing for profitability to make your margin, your net margin better, that shouldn't be at the expense of ensuring that you are year on year, month on month, seeing some kind of positive trajectory. Because if you're going down or if you're flat, buyers will discount your valuation, your multiple, and you don't want that. So you want to try and achieve both at the same time, where you have some kind of month on month, year on year growth, but at the same time, you want to ensure you're being ruthless with your profitability and your net margin. So I hope you found this useful, me being super transparent with my numbers. And until next time, guys, take care and peace.